What did that just say? Just some text thing or shares thing. So yeah, it's quite important. I feel like I should buy the rest, regardless of price. I didn't see if he said it was going up or down. 50, 100, I can probably buy the rest, right? Okay, let's buy... Let's just keep buying. Let's just keep buying. Some of these prices are not favorable, but that's okay. I can afford them. $6.97, $6.30, $6, $5.82, $6. We just maxed out our stock portfolio. We just completely maxed it out. Look at this. We bought every single thing. Alright, well, cool. Now we ignore it until it's $25. Oh, it's going down. Oh, he said it was going down. Oops. I just bought it just before he said it was going down. Well, it doesn't really matter. We got money. We have enough money. Actually, do I? Maybe I don't have enough money for next year. Can I make $500 million between now and tax day next year? Probably yes. All right, we're not gonna touch anything. We're not gonna build any more things because I don't think I have enough money to pay taxes. What are these? Oh, these are the new stations. All right, let's just ignore those because they are new and we expect them to lose money at the beginning. Although we wish they didn't, but we expect them to. Construction, market, real estate, factories. Oh, wow, some of these concourses are losing a lot of money, and the factories. But that's okay. The other properties more than make up for it. Especially the spa hotels. Wow, look at this thing. Stock market crash, don't really care. Is he gonna keep bugging us with these now that we own the shares? Alright, so a lot of houses. A lot of new houses out here, that's cool. We just need more materials. We need more materials. Need more materials. Which we don't have. But that's... Oh, look at that. Big apartment. Awesome. Awesome. What other games has roads? Or infrastructure or trains? There's Transport Tycoon Deluxe. I think a lot of people have played that. It's a pretty good game. I think mostly I build trains in that game because that's the most fun. Or the easiest to kind of control and make money. Actually, no, the easiest way to make money in that game is to build planes. Airplanes are interesting because you don't need roads or tracks. Like a train, you need train tracks. With cars or trucks, you need roads. I guess ships also don't really need, like, they just kind of float in the water. Although sometimes you build canals and harbors. With planes, you would build airports. But they just travel wherever they like, and so it's kind of, there's no infrastructure costs, or there's not as much infrastructure costs. Although with planes these days, there's so many planes in the sky that in most countries there are designated corridors where they travel, so they don't, they don't crash into each other. Especially around busy airports, like there are very specific, like corridors where you're supposed to fly the planes. You're not supposed to deviate from them. Otherwise, you run the risk of crashing your planes into other planes just because there's so many of them in the sky. With ships, there are also trade routes, although they tend to go wherever they like. But for example, the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, the Straits of Malacca, around there's Singapore. So the trade routes between Europe and Asia Like they go past Singapore, they go through the Suez Canal, and they go to Europe. So I mean, even with ships, even though ships, you can kind of sail them anywhere, or presumably you can sail a ship anywhere. But they would go along certain routes, just because there's so many of them, and there's a reliable or a predictable kind of route that they want to actually travel along. So they establish routes like that, and of course there's canals, which is kind of like infrastructure for ships. All of that to carry stuff around the world. You make stuff in one place, or you grow stuff in one place, and then you ship them to other places to sell. People travel a lot more these days than they used to, because of the transport technologies making travel easier. I mean, just a century ago, there's no planes. Like you couldn't fly anywhere. If you wanna, go to the other side of the world, you have to get on a boat for a long time. I don't know how much you guys travel, and I don't know if you guys think there's much benefit to traveling. But it's I mean, aside from just seeing different countries and just going on vacations, there's a lot that there's a lot of benefit to just kind of the exchange of ideas, and just kind of learning from other people and seeing new things. That's valuable too. Like because sometimes like people do things differently in other parts of the world, and then it's not obvious. People don't always talk about it, but then you kind of go see new things, learn new things, and you kind of apply these things you learned back home. Sometimes some of that stuff is quite useful. And just relying on other people to tell you about what they're doing isn't always as good as you actually going there and seeing it with your own eyes a lot of the time. Like sometimes people talk about what's a good example? I mean, I can think of a few examples. Like people in manufacturing would go and visit factories in other countries to see how they do things and to kind of learn tricks from each other. I guess with other businesses too. With architecture, obviously because you can't move the architecture, so you have to move the people to the architecture, right? So if you want to see a building, you can't bring the building to you. You have to go to the building. So for architecture, if you want to learn about architecture, you kind of have to travel around the world to see different buildings in different parts of the world. What else? A lot of museums don't really want to move their stuff around, like a lot of art, like paintings. If they move them around too much, they risk damaging them. So if you want to see certain precious works of art, you have to actually travel to the museums that house them. And yeah, and then vacations and tourism and recreation. Like if you want to go see the Great Barrier Reef, you have to go to the Great Barrier Reef. You can't bring the reef to you, right? Whatever, skiing, you have to go to the mountains and so on and so forth. And like imagine you couldn't fly. Like 100 years ago, you couldn't fly. Like if you want to see the pyramids, you have to kind of like travel. You have to get on a camel and actually go to the pyramids on a camel. Or if you wanna go see Beijing, to get on a boat, sail to China. So that's inconvenient. So then, back then, you wouldn't really. Not many people traveled. Usually, it's people who have enough money and enough time to actually go to different parts of the world, which is not most people. Let me just check this out. Holy cow! I'm paying $2 billion in taxes this year. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I don't actually make... Wait a minute. Please don't tell me I pay taxes on stocks as well. Please don't tell me I pay taxes on stocks as well. That would be insane. 12? What was that? 1.2 when it was 6? Was it 6 or 8? Double that, 1.3, maybe. No, I don't pay taxes on stocks, I don't think. But holy cow, $1.8 billion in taxes. This game is, I don't even know. It's just depressing. Well, when it gets to like $20 and I sell everything, it's gonna be ridiculous as well. It's ridiculous both ways, alright? It's ridiculous how much money you make on the stock market, and it's ridiculous how much money you lose in taxes. I just don't understand why they would balance the game this way. Alright, cool. I mean, if it were up to me, I would just... I might just remove the stock market. Or like have it a lot slower, so that you can't actually make very much money on the stock market. Or maybe more predictable, or more unpredictable, my bad. Like make the stock market less predictable, so that it's just more difficult to make money off the stock market, and then just make it easier to make money off the trains, so that if people play the trains, which is what the game is about, it's A Train. The game's called A Train, and building trains is fun. So then just reward people for building trains instead of rewarding people for staring at the stock market. Jeez, I keep saying that, but I mean it. You know, I seriously don't understand why they would balance the game this way. Just make it, just make like the stock market ridiculously profitable, and then make the property taxes ridiculously high. I don't know, why would you do that? I don't even know what the property tax is about, and why is my property worth so much money? Facilities appraisal 12 billion, subsidiary appraisal 15 billion. Subsidiary returns 800, costs 300. We're almost through to the end of February. $300 million in profit subsidiaries times 6, 8. Okay, well, the subsidiaries by themselves barely pay for the property tax. Actually, I think the subsidiaries by themselves will pay for the property tax. So maybe it's not so bad. But it's just that if all of that income is just gone in taxes, and the railroad returns are not that much higher than the railroad costs, we're not really making much money. We're barely making any money. Like we're paying 95% effective taxes on profits. Stupid. It's just utterly stupid the way this game is balanced. This is growing fast. I mean, I guess maybe it's possible I'm doing it wrong somehow. I can't think of how though. Like maybe it's possible that I'm just playing this game wrong somehow, and in fact it's not supposed to be like. I don't think so. Like I looked on the internet a little bit just to see like, there's nothing on A Train 8. Apparently nobody plays this version of the game. But like looking at other versions of the game, like people just say you don't make any money building trains. So just play the stock market. It's just so ridiculous. It's just silly, man. I don't know. We still have no materials down here at all. I'm wondering if that's close enough for me to build a concourse here. Let me just go station, concourse. Nope. How are these houses being built? From that depot? There's no materials here. Report. It's almost the end of March. About $500 million in subsidiary profits. So, 5 times 4 is 2 billion. Okay, we are making several $100 million profit after tax each year. Maybe like $300 million profit after tax. This business is just completely unprofitable.